Howdy, and welcome to day 14.
Congratulations.
Wow, we all made it. Okay, so day 14 of our Wellness Bootcamp for quarantine, and we have saved, I think we could arguably say we saved this best for last. We are talking about frankincense. I mean, all of it's been good though.
It's
and all the tools are amazing. And I think that's one of the things that I have been reminded, like, all of these tools are amazing and we have them at our fingertips. So that's so awesome.
And I think I mentioned that in the video that we've not ever had that in the history of humanity. Have we had
regular people?
Regular people. I mean, these were the stuff of kings, right? These were the whole kingdoms were fought over for this stuff here, frankincense in particular, and so it's just amazing. Even the story of how frankincense comes about. How do we even get frankincense? They actually have to go to these trees that are growing out of the dirt, out of the rock. I mean, there's no soil, and these hardy, tough trees that grow out of this, and they go and they cut the bark and they let the sap run, and so this is actually the healing material that the plant is using. This is perimeter defense for the plant.
Sends the sap to protect its perimeter, just like we talked about with our Thieves product.
That's right. It soaks the sap. It sends in the sap. It sends the essential oil, it builds the essential oils and sends it in there so that it will protect that wound and heal that wound. Well, then they collect those balls of sap, little tiny balls of sap by hand. All this has to be done by hand. There's no machinery. And then they collect all that and distill it in a very special way. Usually it's hexane extracted or xylene extracted because it's a low yield. But we only have this perfect, beautiful, steam distilled frankincense. It's a treasure. It's a treasure, and I'm so in awe every time I think about all of that component that went into it. It's cool.
We get to hold it in our hands, and I just did an attitude adjustment. That's our challenge for today. It's just simply like what I did: put a drop in your hand, and be there. And the scripture we picked, and Peter already talked about it, was the Martha, Martha, you're anxious and worried about many things. There is only one thing. You need only be concerned about one thing. And I think that is the power of the frankincense, is to help us just be centered and feel what that feels like.
Literally change the brain.
I talk about the hamster wheel of the brain, like lay there at night. I can't sleep because my brain is going. And it just, this is the opportunity to just focus and be grounded, move out of that fear.
And I think that's a key lesson here, and it's an excellent lesson to end with, and because we actually started with it too in a way. I don't think we necessarily highlighted it that this articulated, but fear. When we are in a fear mode, physiological, when our brain is in a fear mode, we're only reacting. We cannot learn in a fear mode. So all of this we've been discussing about learning.
This is the crucial skill.
About
this
learning,
is so important.
right? About learning these wellness skills. We can't learn anything if we're in fear. So we started our boot camp with valor. Have the courage to do this and we end
shift your mindset,
which frankincense is in valor.
Yes.
And we end with frankincense on this same note of allow this process to give you courage, to give you the confidence. We've been talking about that. To be out of fear, not be in a fear mode, but be in a possibility thinking mode.
Right.
That wait a minute. Inhale frankincense, pause, wait, inhale frankincense. I have skills. I have learned skills. I know what to do. I have resources.
Or if I feel like I don't, okay, Lord, I need resources.
And then I wonder
where they
how
are.
those resources are going to show up.
Yes.
Exactly what I need for the time.
So I feel like it helps me stay in the flow, and that's kind of how I've been describing it, is rather than buffeting around and being, if you read the news or Have to go to the grocery store, and now you have to stand in line to get in the grocery store.
Or you
All
have to go to the grocery store if you own more than
boom.
one store because they're limiting a number of items, and so it's like, well, wait a minute, I thought we're supposed to minimize
Bouncing
the amount.
around and all of this stuff,
Yeah.
instead of, okay, stay focused, stay present, and stay in the flow of what is the next thing I'm supposed to be doing.
Well, and again, possibility thinking. When we're when we're not in a fear mode, when we're in a faith mode, I mean the opposite of fear, faith, we have that possibility thinking. So here we are in this opportunity to conduct ourselves in a different way, to rethink what's important in our lives, and to, as a society, what an amazing opportunity for the whole society to pause
The planet.
and to rethink and to say, well, how are we going to learn? How are we going to move forward? And what a great opportunity to do this.
Okay, so our challenge today is kind of similar to what we've talked about with other oils. You could, just like we did with Stress Away and we talked about with lavender, is to put this in your pocket and do it every hour. Set a timer. Intervene. And if you feel like you're in a high stress kind of, where you are right now, or just, your day is like that, that would be a reasonable thing to do. I'm thinking more like 4 to 6 times a day. And just, set a timer for every 2 hours or every transition that you make in the day, definitely at bedtime. Do an attitude adjustment, just like we just showed with the frankincense, and just be fully in there. And this would be a great time to use your affirmations. We put examples on there on the blog, a scripture verse that really speaks to you, anything like that. A great time to center your mind, because we talked about the importance of controlling your thoughts. And this is another one where this was like mind-blowing, literally, for me, of realizing that I could, because I felt, again, just like I felt like victim in my body. Like every time I go to the doctor's going to tell me something else wrong with my body, and it just happens out of the blue. Well, same thing with my thoughts. Like, I just thought that's how brains work.
Thoughts just happen, and
I can't
control them.
That.
Which is not true.
Not true. And
you're the only one that can control that.
Even though, I went through some scary times postpartum, it was very, very empowering. And I read an actual book by psychologists about thinking habits. And I was like, oh, this is a thinking habit, just like a lifestyle habit. I can change it. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. So I can do this. And so a lot of times we need that, just like we talked about the amygdala hack and with the Stress Away. Sometimes this intervention, this attitude adjustment, can help interrupt those old thinking habits and give us the opportunity to put something new in.
So here's another way that you could interact with frankincense today. And that is, when you find yourself in a thinking habit that is not healthy, that's not helping you. Now, I don't know if I said this.
A common one that I talked about, and I definitely experienced, was perseveration. And I think that we would probably, there's a lot of us perseverating about the issues coming up, like, when is this going to end? Okay. And just over and over and over and over and over persevering on this one thought. We don't have to do that.
Observe your thoughts today. And when you find yourself running a program that you're caught in, that you no longer have control of because it's running, get your frankincense. Inhale, interrupt that thought pattern and introduce a new thought. And that was something that I had to learn very, very early, and that was to stop poisoning myself in the thought category. And I would engage in stressful thoughts, and I would hold them, and I would drive them deep.
Talk about them, and
I would talk about them and focus and rehash them, and then I realized, wait a minute, why am I doing this? And I had to actually intervene. I didn't even have the oils. I had to learn to intervene, and I did it with a breath and with a single phrase. I would breathe in Jesus, I love you, or Peter, I love you. That was Jesus telling me that he loves me. And so I would breathe in a phrase that would interrupt that and help me change my thought habit. It was a very, very empowering skill to see that I could do it. And
Right.
it was, I had to get disciplined. I had to work at it, but I could do it.
Well, even the fact that we call this an attitude adjustment is because because I would notice occasionally, just only occasionally, that somebody in
not
the
very
house
often.
needed an attitude adjustment. So I'd be like, go get the frankincense. So
And I didn't want to.
no.
I don't. I mean, honestly,
Actually, and we talk to our teenagers, and they don't really.
they don't
really
want to either. And when they're, dive bombing, I mean, it's like we're all in. I mean, we are all in going down, and there's no pulling out of that nosedive. And so that's where Mama Bear comes out and
Go
says,
get the frankincense.
here.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it, but up against that, you're gonna do it. And I still don't want to do it. And well, now I forgot what it was that I was doing. I mean, it literally changes the brain, resets the thought pattern, and gives me an opportunity to go, okay, right, let's go take a supplement. I mean,
Right.
a lot of times there's more
maybe
actions.
If I drink water.
There's more actions to take, but the next step, the next right step becomes clear.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what frankincense does.
Yeah.
It gives clarity to the next right step.
Right. And I think we're all, because things are changing so much every day, that we need that. We need that to be able to discern what the next right thing to do is, because nothing is what we're used to right now. So, okay. I think we covered it.
I think we did.
I think we did. Wow. Okay. So while we're going to wrap up our last video, guys, I'm going to miss you. Okay. So, making the connections today, we talked about our wellness strategy. So let's go over what the wellness strategy is.
Stop the
Stop
poison. Stop poisoning ourselves.
Flood the body with
with nutrients, or the particular category with nutrients. Focus on the nutrients.
And manage stress. And so today our primary focus is managing stress. You could also say we're flooding our body with nutrients or resources, giving our body resources. Yeah. And when you're talking about the 4 essentials for life, if something is essential for life, then it's a good tool for our healing, right? So that's the whole premise behind that. The 4 essentials for life are food, water, air, and love. And today we're talking primarily about the love category, and we're utilizing breath to do that. And then for the While Wellness program, where we talk about, it's a year-long program where we go over each of the body systems in a month's time, and we have a playlist on our YouTube channel for each of those months. This one, I think, is primarily, we're talking about the nervous system. It's not an exact fit, but we're definitely talking about the brain and being able to calm down, and that would primarily be the nervous system, which is month 9. Alrighty.
Okay. Happy wellness.
Sending blessings your way.